climber narrowly escaped a dangerous fate on Mount Hood after rescue teams were able to locate him and get him off the mountain.
What if I told you that beneath Oregon's beautiful forests, rugged coastlines, and snow-capped volcanoes, something terrifying is stirring right now? This isn't science fiction, it's happening. Scientists have been stunned by new discoveries that reveal Oregon may not be as stable as it seems. From hidden magma chambers to strange sounds booming beneath the desert, these revelations could change how we see the Pacific Northwest forever. Could Oregon actually be sitting on a geological time bomb? And if so, what would happen if it went off? Let's dive deep into 10 shocking discoveries shaking Oregon right now. The sleeping giant, Mount Hood's uplift. Mount Hood, Oregon's tallest peak, is more than a postcard image. It's a stratovolcano that last erupted in the 1780s. For centuries, it seemed peaceful, a playground for climbers and skiers, but recent satellite data and GPS stations are showing a subtle yet steady uplift of the mountain's slopes. Ground deformation like this often points to magma moving beneath the surface. Scientists have also noticed a swarm of microquakes under Mount Hood's southern flank, tiny tremors that may signal magma pressurizing. While these quakes are too small to be felt, they are clustered in ways that don't match normal tectonic stress. Could this mean Mount Hood is recharging its magma chamber? What would happen if Mount Hood erupted again today? Portland, just 50 miles away, sits directly downwind of ashfall zones. Thousands of people use the highways and live in floodplains connected to glacial meltwater. An eruption could unleash lahars, mud flows capable of destroying bridges and entire towns. Are we seeing the early signs of such a future? Or is this just the mountain breathing as it always has? But here's the chilling part. Some researchers warn that the uplift patterns match those seen before historic eruptions elsewhere in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Could Oregon be on the verge of its own volcanic chain reaction? Imagine ash clouds blotting out the sun, grounding flights, and coating Portland in inches of volcanic dust. Would the city's infrastructure survive weeks without clean air and safe transport routes? And what about the rivers, fed by Mount Hood's glaciers? Could sudden melting trigger destructive floods racing toward unsuspecting towns? If Mount Hood does awaken, would it erupt quietly with lava flows, or explosively with a column stretching into the stratosphere? History shows both are possible. The frightening truth is, we don't know which scenario is more likely or when it could strike. Each tremor, each millimeter of uplift leaves us wondering, is this a harmless adjustment or the countdown to Oregon's next great disaster? Strange booming sounds in the high desert. Imagine standing in Oregon's high desert late at night and hearing a thunderous boom echo across the sagebrush, with no storm, no aircraft, no explosions. This isn't an isolated report. Residents across Deschutes and Harney counties have described mysterious underground booms for years. Geologists call these sky quakes or mystery booms. Some blame them on distant jet aircraft or collapsing lava tubes. But new studies suggest something far more unsettling. Shifting magma chambers deep below the desert. Lava tubes from Oregon's volcanic past stretch for miles, many unexplored. When pressure builds underground, it could create acoustic shockwaves that ripple to the surface. Could these booms be Oregon's underground, signaling that something massive is brewing? Or are we simply listening to the natural settling of an ancient volcanic landscape? The terrifying part is, no one knows for sure. But what if these are not just random noises, but nature's alarm clock ticking louder with each passing year? Some scientists warn that such acoustic signals may precede significant tectonic or volcanic shifts. Imagine if the next boom is not just heard but followed by a violent rupture beneath the desert floor. Could Oregon's quiet, high desert be preparing for an explosive awakening? Local ranchers have reported animals panicking before these booms occur. Are they sensing vibrations humans cannot feel? And if wildlife is responding, should we take these natural warnings more seriously? Consider the possibility. What if these sounds are echoes of magma moving through hidden pathways, creating pressure pockets that one day could burst to the surface? Would the eruption strike silently at night, catching entire towns off guard? Or would it unleash a cascade of quakes and ash that could blanket nearby communities? Each unexplained boom leaves behind questions more chilling than the last. Are these harmless quirks of geology, or are we ignoring early warnings of Oregon's next big disaster? New fault lines near the coast. For decades, the Cascadia subduction zone has been the region's big geological villain, a 600-mile fault where the Juan de Fuca plate dives beneath North America. But Oregon scientists recently mapped a series of hidden secondary faults running inland along the coast. These faults, some previously unknown, may act like dominoes in a massive quake. If they rupture in connection with Cascadia, the shaking could intensify, spreading destruction far inland. Some towns like Newport and Coos Bay lie directly above these hidden fractures. Imagine the devastation if both systems ruptured together. Collapsed bridges, liquefied soil, and tsunami waves tearing across the coast. Seismologists now face a chilling question. Has Oregon been underestimating its true earthquake hazard all along? Could the next big one be even bigger than anyone dared predict? But what if this hidden network is not just a secondary risk, but the key to unlocking a far greater disaster? Some models suggest that if these faults rupture simultaneously, the shaking could be amplified to levels never before recorded in the Pacific Northwest. Could skyscrapers in Portland sway until glass rains from their windows? Would highways crumple like paper and leave entire regions cut off? And consider this. If a tsunami were triggered offshore at the same time, would coastal communities have any chance of escape with mere minutes of warning? Would the combination of shaking and waves deliver a double strike powerful enough to alter Oregon's landscape forever? Every new discovery beneath the coast adds layers of uncertainty. Are we only beginning to uncover the full extent of Oregon's seismic puzzle? Or are we staring at an impending catastrophe no one has truly prepared for? The mysterious Blue Lakes. In Oregon's volcanic regions, lakes like Crater Lake already seem otherworldly. But recently, researchers documented bizarre color changes in smaller crater lakes and alpine pools. Some have shifted to vibrant electric blue hues overnight. At first, scientists thought it was mineral runoff from landslides or algae blooms. But water samples show unusual thermal patterns and higher concentrations of dissolved gases like carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. These are gases often associated with volcanic activity. Could geothermal heat be rising from hidden magma pockets beneath these lakes? The eerie part is that sudden gas releases from lakes can be deadly. In Cameroon in 1986, Lake Nyo suddenly released a cloud of CO2 that suffocated 1,700 people in minutes. Could Oregon's lakes hide a similar danger? Or are these changes harmless quirks of climate shifts? But what if these glowing blue waters are not just a natural oddity, but a silent warning from below? If gases are accumulating at alarming rates, could a sudden overturn unleash a suffocating wave of invisible death into nearby valleys? How many towns are close enough to be caught in the path of such a disaster? Imagine tourists drawn to these brilliant blue pools, unaware they may be standing beside a ticking geological time bomb. Would evacuation even be possible if gases erupted without warning? Could Oregon face its own Lake Nyo's tragedy, scaled up by modern populations and infrastructure? And if these lakes are changing color due to hidden geothermal surges, what else might be brewing beneath the Cascades? Are these shimmering blues Nature's final warning before magma forces its way to the surface? Or will scientists discover an entirely new process at work, something even stranger than volcanoes themselves? Lava tubes that never end. Oregon is famous for its lava tubes, giant underground tunnels carved by ancient flows, but recent cave surveys in Deschutes County uncovered vast networks of tubes stretching far deeper than expected. Some explorers reported warm air currents flowing upward, even though the rock should be cool after thousands of years. Thermal imaging confirmed that certain chambers remain hotter than surrounding rock. Does this suggest a hidden geothermal reservoir, or even a still-connected magma system beneath? If so, Oregon may be sitting on a far more active volcanic system than anyone realized. But what if these lava tubes are not relics of the past at all, but pathways waiting to carry molten rock to the surface again? Could a sudden eruption burst through these underground highways with little to no warning? Imagine lava pouring from unexpected fissures, miles away from known volcanoes. Would nearby towns have any chance of escape? Some researchers fear that if these tubes connect to a deeper magma body, they could act like pressure valves. If that pressure is suddenly released, would Oregon see entire landscapes reshaped overnight? Could these mysterious tunnels be hiding the greatest threat of all, an unseen eruption building beneath our feet? Every hot pocket, every unexplored cavern raises more questions. Are these lava tubes harmless natural wonders, or ticking geological time bombs concealed beneath Oregon soil? Before we continue, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got shocking discoveries still ahead, including one that could threaten the entire Pacific coast. You won't want to miss it. Steam rising from hidden springs. In the remote valleys of central Oregon, hikers have reported plumes of steam venting from the ground, areas where no hot springs were previously mapped. Geologists rushed to investigate and confirmed new geothermal vents emerging along fault lines. What's most alarming is that these vents appear to be increasing in temperature. When pressure builds underground, steam vents can act like safety valves for magma chambers, but they can also be warning signs of instability. Could Oregon's underground be heating up faster than scientists realized? Are these small releases preventing disaster, or hinting that something larger is building? But what if these new vents are only the beginning? Imagine dozens more appearing suddenly across valleys and farmlands, venting scalding gas and steam into the air. Would nearby communities be forced to evacuate within hours? Could crops and livestock survive such a shift in the environment? Scientists fear that a surge of geothermal activity might signal magma on the move. If the crust is cracking enough to vent steam, could molten rock be following close behind? And if magma does break the surface, would Oregon face minor eruptions or a catastrophic blast that rewrites its history? Every rising plume raises urgent questions. Are we witnessing harmless geothermal shifts, or the surface signs of a far greater disaster waiting to explode beneath Oregon soil? Fossilized forests unearthed by landslides. Heavy rains and landslides across Oregon have recently exposed something extraordinary. Fossilized forests. Entire stands of ancient trees, buried millions of years ago, are reappearing from beneath layers of volcanic ash and mud. These fossils tell a story of catastrophic eruptions that once buried Oregon's forests in minutes, but their sudden exposure raises new fears. If Oregon's present-day volcanoes unleashed a similar eruption, could today's forests and towns meet the same fate? What would it take for Oregon to become a fossilized landscape once again? But what if these trees are not only relics of the past, but also warnings carved in stone? Could they be nature's way of reminding us that the land here has turned deadly before and might again? Imagine waking up to see smoke on the horizon and ash raining down on modern highways, just as ancient forests once choked beneath falling debris. Would we recognize the parallels in time to save lives, Or would history repeat itself in terrifying silence? If entire forests can be entombed in a single event, what chance do our cities stand today? Could Portland or Eugene one day be rediscovered by future generations as fossilized ruins beneath volcanic ash? Each uncovered tree trunk seems to whisper the same chilling question. Is Oregon's next burial already written beneath our feet? Mysterious magnetic anomalies. Satellite surveys over Oregon's crust have picked up strange distortions in the magnetic field. In some regions, compass readings shift unexpectedly, as though something massive and metallic lies underground. Some researchers suspect these anomalies are the signature of huge basalt flows, buried beneath layers of younger rock. Others wonder if they mark hidden magma chambers still active today. Could Oregon's underground be far more complex, hiding entire reservoirs of molten rock that we have yet to detect? And if so, how stable are they really? But what if these anomalies are not just geological quirks, but evidence of something far more dangerous? Could they be silent reservoirs of molten rock pressurizing beneath our feet? If those chambers rupture, would Oregon face a chain of eruptions stretching across the state? Imagine compasses spinning wildly, aircraft navigation failing, and communities blindsided by sudden explosions of fire and ash. Could these distortions be early tremors in the Earth's magnetic heartbeat, warning us of a catastrophic release? Or are we staring at geological puzzles we don't yet have the science to solve? Each new survey deepens the mystery. Is Oregon hiding a subterranean monster waiting to break free? Or are we misreading signs of processes older and stranger than any we've encountered before? The silent zone beneath Cascadia. One of the most chilling discoveries comes from deep within the Cascadia subduction zone itself. Geophysicists identified a silent zone beneath Oregon, a section of fault that doesn't slip, doesn't quake, and seems to absorb stress instead of releasing it. At first glance, that sounds good. But history shows that locked zones like this can build energy for centuries, only to release it in one catastrophic rupture. Could this silent zone be the fuse waiting to ignite the next megathrust earthquake? If it snaps, will Oregon face devastation on a scale larger than Japan's 2011 disaster? But what if this so-called silence is actually the most dangerous sound of all? Imagine a fault line storing energy like a coiled spring, ready to release it in one violent instant. Would skyscrapers in Portland sway and crumble as bridges collapsed into rivers? Would coastal towns have even a few moments to escape before the sea rushed inland? Scientists warn that the longer such a fault stays locked, the more catastrophic the eventual release could be. Is Oregon unknowingly sitting on a countdown clock, hidden beneath its soil? And if so, how close are we to midnight? The superheated ocean floor. Off Oregon's coast, underwater sensors have detected massive plumes of heat rising from the seafloor. Scientists suspect newly active undersea volcanoes. Some vents are releasing superheated fluids at over 700 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. The terrifying scenario? If these underwater volcanoes erupt explosively, they could trigger tsunamis aimed directly at the Oregon coast. Towns like Seaside, Astoria, and Lincoln City have only minutes of warning before waves strike. Could Oregon's greatest threat be not from land, but from the ocean floor itself? But what if this underwater activity is only the tip of the iceberg? Imagine an entire chain of hidden sea mounts awakening at once, sending colossal waves racing toward the shore. Would coastal defenses stand any chance, or would entire communities be swallowed by the sea? Scientists worry that if magma chambers beneath the Pacific rupture violently, Oregon could face devastation on a scale not seen in modern history. Could fishing fleets and cargo ships vanish in moments beneath towering walls of water? Could the Pacific coastline itself be redrawn overnight? And here's the chilling question. Are these sensors picking up the early stages of a geological transformation that might one day turn Oregon's coast into the front line of a global catastrophe? Oregon is a land of breathtaking beauty, but beneath that beauty lies a restless, dangerous world. Magma chambers, hidden faults, boiling seas. The discoveries emerging here are as terrifying as they are fascinating. Which of these discoveries shocked you the most? Do you think Oregon is overdue for a catastrophic eruption or megaquake? Could the next disaster strike tomorrow? Or are we merely witnessing nature's cycles in slow motion? Imagine if one of these hidden forces erupted without warning. Would Oregon's cities survive, or would history remember this moment as the prelude to collapse? Is the ground beneath us quietly ticking like a time bomb, daring us to ignore the warnings until it's too late? And here's the ultimate question. Are we prepared at all, or are we living on borrowed time beneath a land that could change forever in the blink of an eye? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you don't miss the next discovery that could shake our world.